Vargas's willingness to escape resentment is his major contribution beyond his well-honed images of a world sacred, even without a God. It comes at a time when resentment and a lack of sacredness may kill this country, even the world. May his journey elevate us all. And this is from Mark Olmsted, which the review appeared in Beatdown. What draws the reader back to these poems lies in compassion that refuses to be stifled, generosity of spirit that pervades each line and stanza, and belief in the ability of art, if not to see us safely through the end times, then to record it for a post-apocalyptic posterity, and to lend comfort through its clarity of vision. This is Daniel Mueller, and he wrote the review in the paper. Richard Vargas earned his BA at Cal State University, Long Beach, where he studied under Gerald Laughlin and Richard Lee. He edited, published 5 issues of the Tequila Review from 1978 to 1980, and 12 issues of the Mas Tequila Review from 2010 to 2015. Vargas received his MFA in creative writing from the University of New Mexico in 2010. He was the recipient of the 2011 Taos Summer Writers Conference Hispanic Writer Award. He was on the faculties of the 2012 10th National Latino Writers Conference and the 2015 Taos Summer Writers Conference. Published collections include McLife, American Jesus, Guernica Revisited, and now How a Civilization Begins. He currently resides in Wisconsin, and we welcome him today and we celebrate his fantastic collection of poetry. Welcome, Richard. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Maria, for your faith and your support in my work and investing time and money to bring my book, to make it a reality. Anybody that has any dealings with the oppressed in the future, I'm sure is going to agree that you really put the authors, how we feel about our work at the forefront of what you do. And I appreciate that. I want to thank Levi. I want to thank Alexis. I'm so lucky to have established and cultivated these professional relationships, personal relationships throughout the years. And thank you for showing up. I want to thank Margaret Randall, who also wrote the foreword to the book. She's in Mexico, swamped with a series of events, but I'm sure she's here with us in spirit. The first poem I'm going to read is kind of like my credo for how I feel about poetry. It's titled, "It's All About the Poem." This is how it begins, except there is no beginning. There never was. Be the blank sheet of paper, crisp and clean, pure and unmarked. Be still and quiet as letters appear to become words, becoming images, invoking feelings passing through the void. Be the space between the lines and stanzas. Be the infinite. There is no I. The me does not exist. Only the empty vessel. The beauty of this moment is every time this is read, the energy expands beyond itself. This is where it ends, except it never ends. Be still, be quiet. It happens. It is. During my self-imposed isolation during COVID, I wrote a lot of poetry and took the time to actually put this book together. And I'm sure we're all in that boat where we were doing a lot of creative stuff just to maintain our sanity. This poem is titled Dying in a Country That Is Great Again. The government invested heavily in killing machines, but not so much in life-saving machines. Doctors will have to decide which of us will be relegated to breathe our last. The elderly and frail versus a young breadwinner with a family to feed versus a wheelchair-bound paraplegic versus a teen with a lot of life waiting to be lived. It's a class they don't teach in med school. Then the nurses will give us whatever feel-good drug is near, pull the plug and tubes, hold our hand so we don't die alone. Once it is done, they will check the roster, move on to the next bed, repeat the ritual, saving their tears for shift's end when the brittle shell cracks and the numbing red yolk spills out and breaks. Exhausted angels administer mercy in hell by the dawn's early light as our bodies stack up in refrigerated trailers parked in the back. One thing that did happen during COVID was during all the updates on TV, I discovered the importance of the people who use sign language to get the message out to the population that's deaf or hearing impaired. This poem is called Hands. The governors and the mayors have been saying the same things every day for over a month. Their monotone monologues effective as a double dose of melatonin. It's only natural that eyes drift over to their sidekicks, the person off to the side whipping hands and digits with lightning speed, contorting facial expressions to emote the physical language they share with their brethren. Some look like maniacal Sunday morning preachers in the midst of waking up a still half asleep congregation. And others are calm as a single mom opening up and pulling in a troubled child in need of comfort. They vary in color, size, and shape. I wonder if they ever slip, throw in a, this person is so full of bullshit. He, she just said. If I were doing the job, it would not be for long because I would be tempted to tell my version of the truth until the hook was extended from behind the curtain, pulling my ass off the stage, never to be seen again. The title poem, How a Civilization Begins, came about because I was pondering how we like to think it began with the making of fire or the printing press or getting a clump of clay and poking symbols in it, you know, our first attempt at writing or the invention of the wheel, when actually I think it was all by accident. How a civilization begins. Could you run fast enough the first time you heard the pop, pop, pop? So unlike the noise of deer walking on dried leaves or the splash a fish makes sleeping into night air for the low-flying mosquito. Did you hide behind a tree or big rock all day until hunger or cold or both gave you courage to go back to the cave where you found it scattered all over the floor? Did you pick it up, smell it, lick it, put it in your mouth, light as snow, puffy as daffodil, crunchy like a cricket? Did you want to know the secret, the trick, the magic? Did you want to make more? This poem is called We Will Never Know. Who was the man on the grassy knoll? What was the color of J. Edgar Hoover's favorite pair of panties? Did the aliens give Ronald Reagan a butt probe, and did he like it? By now, we should be fine with all the stuff we will never know. It was never meant for us. but for those rich white college guys in secret fraternities who drink frog blood and smear themselves with chicken guts while dancing naked in secret rooms in the basement, where they determine who will be presidents, Supreme Court justices, and senators. They roll dice for their future wives, hope she's not playing and comes from old money. And we, the common folk who will never know, should never know, would go insane if we did know, carry on our simple lives, poor and pissed, pay taxes and die in ignorant bliss. She whispers, "Don't leave me." And we stay connected, me still inside her, shifting my weight so she can breathe easy. The air in the room is thick and primal, smells erogenous, drips down the walls with sticky pleasure. Just two lovers in the dark, holding on, not going anywhere, lying in our wet spot, waiting for the world to end. How I wrecked my first car. It's taken me a long time to be able to tell this story. We were parked in the back of a local industrial park, half-naked teens in the front seat, putting the warm Southern California night to good use. A helicopter overhead shined its spotlight on us, worse than a cold shower. We made a run for the open road, wanted to be invisible, didn't use headlights, didn't see the concrete curb waiting for us dead ahead, like the iceberg that sank the Titanic. Fluids leaking everywhere, steering column bent crooked, a flat tire. Cops pulled up. Mayday, mayday, we were going down, but she rose to the occasion, showed no hesitation as she opened the door and stepped out, cooler than a cherry popsicle, approached the cop car, explained with a straight face, we got a flat on the road, pulled into the parking lot to change the tire, thought it was the safe thing to do. They nodded and left. Then she turned around, started walking towards me. Bright glow of a nearby street lamp highlighting the soft curves of her silhouette, bending over to kiss my swollen nose, whispering in my ear that my t-shirt was inside out. I'm going to read an excerpt from the essay that's at the end of the poetry in my book. It's titled "The Father's Gift." And well, here goes. My daddy's a cowboy, I used to proclaim to my classmates in kindergarten, watching him roll his own cigarettes with the pungent tobacco he kept in a shoebox is one of my favorite childhood memories. How he would sprinkle the dried weed into the coarse yellowed paper, roll it between his fingers, and then with one fluid motion, swipe the tip of his tongue along the glued edge. I had watched John Wayne do the same thing 100 times in the movies, but he had nothing over my father. Our other ritual was the washing of the car every Saturday morning. The chrome was polished till it sparkled in the warm mid-morning sun, and I could see my reflection in the baby blue paint job. Then I would climb in on the passenger side and in a time before seatbelts, stand up and hold on as we took the car for a cruise. My slick lowrider father and his Mosquito driving slowly through the streets of downtown Compton. He rolled up the windows and lit one of his special cigarettes. The cloud of secondhand smoke did not smell harsh like regular cigarette smoke, but was sweet and pleasurable as it filled my little lungs. Everything slowed down to a crawl, and the shop windows displaying women's shoes and the mannequins wearing the latest fashions drifted by like a hazy summer dream. The sounds of Ray Charles or Bobby Darin played on the radio as my father's friends pulled up alongside us at the red light, their dark hair combed back slick and shiny from greasy gobs of Tres Flores pomade. Information was passed back and forth about the weekend's parties and dances, which girls would be where and who scored what. Then they nodded in my direction. Shit, Richard, he looks just like you, Esse. Hey, little man, you doing all right? You keeping your old man in line? They would laugh as the light changed and pull ahead to the next familiar car on the road, collecting and disseminating news about the neighborhood like a switchboard on wheels. And this last poem I'm reading it because Hispanic History Month is coming up, and I think it speaks to how some of us might feel. This is called Cinco de Mayo. Everybody's Mexican. Kiwi mango flavored margaritas, chips made with organic non-GMO corn, mild salsa from Trader Joe's, designer tequilas costing mucho dinero. Everybody's Mexican, fake mustache, sombrero, guacamole, and oye, como va. Everybody's Mexican, job stealing, drug dealers, rapists, and criminals, no good for nothing, house cleaning, car washing, lawn mowing, crop picking, cooks, and nannies. Easy to be a Mexican for just one day. Hard to be a Mexican 24/7 in the USA. Thank you.
I would like for everyone to just go ahead and unmute and give him a round of applause if you all don't mind. Thank you so much.
Yes, Richard.
Awesome work, Richard.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Killing the game as always, Richard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And I want to thank Richard for trusting Mouthfeel Press with his book. It's been a pleasure working with him. And I'm honored to have him as part of the Mouthfeel Press family. Thank you so much, Richard. You are now part of us. So there you go. His book is available at our website, www.mouthfeelbooks.com, at amazon.com, and soon to be distributed through bookshop.org and Barnes and Nobles. And I'll keep you both posted on the latter. But for right now, we have about 5, maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes. If any one of you has any questions, this would be a great time to ask Richard any questions whatsoever. So if not, we can go ahead and close the reading. Juliana, yes, go ahead, please. Juliana.
Well, I just want to thank you for inviting me to this Zoom. I'd have to say this was the best one I've attended in 2 years since the pandemic, but I couldn't log on, so I was really late and I missed the first reader, and I apologize, but I'm so glad that I got to catch Levi. I always thought it was Levi, Levi, Levi. He'll always be Levi to me. Bro, you were excellent. And Richard, I am so glad that we got to meet in Pueblo and that I have a signed copy of your new book, because it's changing lives, bro. It is magical. Oh, and I've learned so much from you, and I can't thank you enough. So I just wanted to say congratulations on your new book.
Thank you so much for that. And it was great reading with you in Pueblo. I hope we can do it again sometime.
Me too.
Thank you, Juliana, for that wonderful, for sharing that information with us.
Also, the reading has been recorded, so you would be able to go back when it's posted to see Alexis's reading.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that, Richard. Rich has
Yeah.
a hand up. Yes, go ahead, Rich.
Thank you for that. I just want to say, Richard, this is kind of a weird question, but you got me thinking about the time that we had read together a long time ago, and we had the Godzilla poem that you'd written. My question is, can we anticipate a sequel to or another monster poem that addresses geopolitical affairs? And if so, what monster would you like to use to talk about the world through next time around?
Oh, this is interesting. Now we're going to start a series. That would be cool.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, my next favorite monster is King Kong. He's right up there. So it would have to be a King Kong poem, but I've actually written a few about him. So
All right.
Rodan was one that scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. So that might be next.
You and I have talked about Rodan a few times and how absolutely horrifying that monster was when it first showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll get to work.
All right.
Really good stuff, Rich. Really awesome work. As good as it is on the page, man, just to hear you reading the material really brought it to life. I have nothing but praise, but I guess I'll try to form a question here. Um, you seem so prolific and able to just really capture the mood of whatever's going on in the country and all around you. How do you take that which is exploding um, on a daily basis and be able to capture it in poetry form? What's your process?
I go through like spurts, it's very periodic. It's like right now, I haven't written anything for a while. I've been so immersed in and I really don't like to call it this, but the self-promotion of the book that I have right now. And that kind of conflicts with my writing time. I don't know, man. There's just a time when I'm just fed up and it just all pours out. My biggest problem is I feel like I've already written the poems that need to be written today, except I was writing them like 10, 15, 20 years ago. So I'm having a struggle finding a new way to say what I said then. I'm not one to jump on the bandwagon right away and start writing, the poem about the news of the day. I like to let it simmer, and sometimes it'll be months before what I need to say now actually comes out as a poem. But yeah, and then once in a while, it'll just happen overnight. I'll see something on the news the next day. I'm at the keyboard, it comes out, and I feel like I hit a home run. So it just depends. I wish it was consistent, but I've never been that kind of a writer.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the question, man. And thank you for showing up.